Mike, baseball trade deadline is here. Phillies have the best record in baseball. They're playing really well, but somebody that's looking a little closer at this team knows that in the postseason they only batted like 240 one year against the Yankees. They were in the low 200s again last year against the Giants. That's what knocked them out. Do they need a bat? Do they need a pitcher? What is it? What do you think this team needs, and what do you think this team's going to do?
I don't think they need either of those things. I think they're going to win 100 games, and I think they're going to win the division, and I think they're going to be in the playoffs. And when you're in the playoffs, having 3 A++ starting pitchers is better than any other feature a baseball team can have. So need is the wrong word. Can they improve? Of course they can improve. I think that I think that you really have to be careful about it, though. The Phillies are at a point where they're going to have to start churning the roster and building for the future, and you don't want to mess with your farm system, I don't think, at this point in time. To get a reliever, what reliever am I going to be excited about? I'm very dubious about that.
Heath Bell.
They might be able to. Well, Heath Bell is a different. Yeah, okay, Heath Bell, but you're not going to get Heath Bell without a lot of money or really sacrificing the farm system. And they might be able to fleece Ed Wade. I think that's
I still think
for Hunter Pence. I mean, I think that's a possibility. But again, when you say, would you trade X, Y, and Z, the answer to that question is always, well, it depends on who you'd have to give up. Would you trade for X, Y, and Z? It depends what you'd have to give up, and I would be very leery about giving a lot up if I was the Phillies.
First of all, every time my wife says Hunter Pence, it sounds like underpants to her, she says. And wow. I do agree, I see that. So if he comes to the Phillies, I know I'm going to get ridiculed for that.
So you have that going for you.
There is nobody in the Phillies farm system that I would not be trading. There's no untouchables. Vance Worley, people are like, no. Vance Worley, he's getting by, he's doing great, but he doesn't have top of the rotation stuff. Scouts are even saying it. Right now, none of the players they've traded the last 3 years to get Roy Halladay, to get Cliff Lee, to get even Joe Blanton years ago, none of that has burdened them, but they look back and go, oh, that's a phenomenal young player now. Carrasco is the closest thing, Carlos Carrasco with the Indians. But that's it, Mike. So there's nobody to me to be off limits. If you would get a Hunter Pence, not an underpants, Hunter Pence in here, he's young enough that he would give you some years. If you get in here a Melky Cabrera, I think you just need one more bat. I don't care if they win 100 games. Seattle won 115 and didn't get past the second round of the playoffs. They need that one more bat to help protect Howard. Also, I just think it's really going to help them to. You got to score runs too, and the Phillies had good pitching last year in the playoffs and didn't get it done. If you bring in Heath Bell, it could add the intangible. Matson's a free agent at the end of the year. It gives them another closer in here because Lidge is going to go. If Matson leaves, Heath Bell could take care of that role because some people don't think Bastardo is set up as a closer for the future. He's more of a setup guy. So it does give them that option. I think they need the right-handed bat more than they need the closers because you do have Lidge coming back. Bastardo,
I agree with
Stutz,
that.
Matson is a nice back end of the bullpen. But they still need a situational lefty, I think, down there. And you might be able to get them after the trade deadline in August. Go pick up somebody like they did a couple years ago when they got Air, when they brought Scott Air in. They might be able to find somebody like that that could be a quality veteran.
Well, I mean, I guess we disagree a little bit about this. I'm not as concerned as you are. I think the Phillies are on a path to win 100 games and are at the point in the development of their roster, their team, where they need to be thinking a little bit about the future. And I don't know if we're compromising on a 100-win team in order to, you know what I'm saying, in order to compromise the future, but.
I know exactly what you're saying, again, but I think 100 wins doesn't mean anything.
Well, but postseason is a crapshoot. Hunter Pence is not going to make it less of a crapshoot. But again, compromising the future is something I would be very leery about. I'm not against it, depending on the particulars, but in general, I'm leery about it.
I would trade potential for talent.